Hello, welcome. My name is Nicole, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I received my master's degree from Adler Graduate School, and I also received my undergraduate degree in psychology from the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. So, as a marriage and family therapist, I work with a ton of different people, ranging from children to adults to family and couples that come from all different kinds of backgrounds with all different types of beliefs. So, as a marriage and family therapist, there are a few professional values that we as counselors hold true just as a general rule. So, some values that we have are that we need to be ethical and we need to be competent counselors. And also, we would like to promote social justice and human development. So, those are our general professional values, but then I also have some of my own professional values. So, something that's really important to me is I want to promote self-autonomy. And basically, that just means I want you as a client to be as independent as possible. I don't want you to be in therapy forever. I don't want you to be stuck talking to me forever. I would hope that in the future you can be happy making decisions on your own and feel comfortable doing all those things without having to come to therapy to do that. Something else that I feel is very important is when we start therapy, from this moment on, any personal beliefs I have, I leave those at home. So this time is about you. I'm not going to be bringing any of my own beliefs, values, morals into therapy when it comes to social issues, political issues, anything like that. So I think that's really important to note, and just so you know when you come here, this is a judgment-free zone. So I also know that I said I don't want you to be in therapy forever, but I also will not be pushing you out the door. So length of therapy will be dependent on you for the most part. We're going to work together to see how long you should be in therapy, and it can be a work in progress. We also do have to work with your insurance company just to, as far as payment, things like that go. So if you have an insurance company, or if you're paying on your own, or however it's working, I do work with all the necessary parties to determine an appropriate length of therapy and to see if we have a timeline for the end date or if we can be more flexible with that. So this first session is me kind of going over all of our housekeeping items, making sure that you understand what's going to be happening in therapy and that you understand your rights and responsibilities as a client of mine, as well as going over some of my own policies. This session will be a little bit longer than the other ones, but typically you can expect a session to last an hour in length. So when you leave today, I will be providing you with a document that includes all of the information that we go over today, plus some of the things even in more detail in case you would like to look at them at home later. And if you have questions about it, you can always let me know, and I will be glad to go over all of those things with you. So the first thing I'd like to touch on is my availability outside of my regular business hours. So I am available via email for some extended hours beyond the day, which will be outlined in the informed consent copy that I give you. So you can reach me via email some nights, and I do have some weekend hours as well. So just so you're aware of that. And then if you need to reach someone outside of any of those hours, I do have a resource list. So there are individuals or agencies that you can contact if you need something and I am not available. Other than that, as far as reaching me, I am not doing any Skype therapy at the moment. It is something that I am researching and looking into. I would like to learn a little bit more about it and the actual effectiveness of it before just jumping into it. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to talk to me about it, but it is something I'm researching before I'm going to move towards doing. And then I also do have a text messaging system to set up appointments, scheduling issues, things like that. So if we need to change an appointment, or if we need to reschedule or cancel or whatever the issue is, I do have a texting service that we can do that through. So if you can't call, that works just fine. For cancellations, I do have a cancellation policy, and in your informed consent, I go over that in detail and how that works. I do require at least a 24-hour notice, but same thing for you. If I have to cancel in a short period of time, we work out the details of that. It works the same for both of us, is basically how I handle that. Another important thing I want to touch on is confidentiality. So, of course, everything in our sessions is going to be confidential. Any records or documents, any paperwork that I have from our sessions will be confidential as well. The thing with confidentiality is there are some limitations that I have to follow. I am a mandated reporter, so if I hear of child abuse or vulnerable adult abuse, I do have to report that. And then also, if I feel like you are going to harm yourself or someone else, I do have to take action with that too, just for safety issues and make sure that everyone will be okay. Another big question that I get is confidentiality with minors or someone who has a legal guardian. If you are a minor or if you have a legal guardian and there are things that you want to keep confidential and someone else is asking me to give those up, I will consult with you first. It's not just going to be I'm going to give someone information. I really would rather talk to you, work together on it, figure out the best way that I can still follow the law and be an ethical counselor, but also so we can still maintain our relationship. So if you're worried about things like that, just know I always will be talking to you about them first. Also, as far as privileged communication goes, if you are worried that I may be called into court to discuss your case or things that you tell me in confidence, we do have privileged communication, which means that I will not be talking about the things that happen in our sessions, but there are some exceptions to that. And I do have those outlined in the informed consent. They follow the Wisconsin statutes, basically stating the few exceptions that I would have to talk about if I was called to court to talk about them. Another thing to note is you may recognize me from somewhere in the community, or we might end up having a different type of relationship outside of counseling. Those are issues that I like to work together with you. It's not necessarily grounds for termination of therapy, but it's also not something I just move forward with and don't discuss. So I value your opinions and your feelings about it, and we'll figure out the best approach to see if we can continue with therapy or if I need to refer you to someone else. With that being said, there are a few relationships that I do not entertain, those being a sexual or romantic relationship and a business relationship. So I don't get involved in any relationships like that. And then also, as a general rule, I do not accept gifts from clients. I know it's a really nice gesture and sometimes it's harmless, but just as a general rule, to keep things even keel across the board, I just don't accept gifts from clients. So I like to get that out of the way. It's also in your informed consent, just as a reminder. So, when it comes to ending therapy, that is a conversation. I don't know if you've noticed this whole theme. Everything that I'm going to be doing is going to be a conversation with you. It's about working with you and making sure that we're on the same page and working cohesively. So if we're ending therapy because you're just done with therapy, that's great and exciting. If we're ending therapy for any other reason and you need to be referred to another therapist, I will be making appropriate referrals and also giving you a timeline so you're not without a therapist or a counselor for an extended period of time. So that's something that we work through. So overall, I want our time together, no matter how long or short that may be, to be the most valuable it can be for you. I truly look forward to working with you and working on any goals that you have and helping you work through whatever you're looking to work through. Like I said before, I work with all kinds of people, so if you're an individual looking for counseling or a family or a couple or whatever it is, I'd be more than happy to work with you and go through the informed consent to make sure that we're a good fit together. So thanks for taking the time to meet with me and think about me as your counselor. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Like I said, the document that I'll give you will have everything outlined as far as reaching me and further details about any other policies. Thanks.